Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. So I think they will be streaming it now live. Once they have streamed it live, so I think we can go ahead with the
Presentation.
This is what is the thing. I will start with the presentation, sir, initially first.
Okay.
Because on the Google Meet, at least nobody has joined. So we need to check whether they have joined it on YouTube page. So, okay. So I think they will be streaming it now live.
Rahul, sir.
Once they have streamed it live, so I think we can go ahead with the presentation. This is what is the thing. I will start with the presentation, sir, initially first.
Okay.
Because on the Google Meet, at least nobody has joined. So we need to check whether they have joined it on the YouTube page. So I think they will be streaming it now.
Rahul, sir.
Once they have streamed it. Yes, sir.
Sir, can you read out the code for the subject? It is 18EOE 653, right?
Yes, sir. 653.
Okay.
OE 653 and 651.
Yours is 651.
Yes, sir. 653.
Okay.
Yeah, fine. So I think we'll start with the presentation now. So hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rahul Suryavanshi. Along with me, there is Professor Vinay Shetty. We will be letting you know regarding the open electives which are there in the department, which are offered by the department. That is the electrical and electronics engineering. We are basically offering two electives. That is, one is programmable logical control, and another is renewable energy sources. So myself, I will be giving you the overview of renewable energy sources, whereas Professor Vinay Shetty will be giving you the overview of the programmable logical control. Okay, so I think we will be going ahead. We'll start with the this thing now, giving you the presentation. So first, I will be starting with the renewable energy sources, followed by Sir will be giving you the overview of PLC. Fine. So I'll share my screen now. Is the screen visible, sir? Vinay sir, screen is visible?
No, sir. It's still in the presentation mode.
Yeah, just a minute. Now?
Yeah, now it's visible, sir. You can go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. As I said, the title of the subject is Renewable Energy Source. This is an open elective which has been offered by the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, and it has a subject code of 18EEOE 561. Okay, so it has a subject code of this thing. Sorry, I think there is a small correction. It is 551. So we'll make that correction. Fine. So coming to the topic overview of what exactly is renewable energy. So you might have heard about these renewable energies, which is going ahead in a lot of boom nowadays. So this subject is basically focusing on various renewable energies which are available in the which are commonly used, and what are the how are the applications, what are the different methods of installation, what is the basics. So from basic till the application part, the entire thing you will be studying in the subject. So considering the top 7 renewable energy which is there in the current era, that is for if we consider 2020, solar and wind are one of the most prominent renewable energy sources which are available in the country. Okay, because as India lies into this tropical region, we have an abundant amount of solar energy throughout the year. Also, the wind is also at a very particularly, what you can say, at a moderately in a good way. So what we can say is the amount of generation what is happening from solar as well as wind are the major contributor towards the total energy generation. So there are apart from this solar and wind, there are not many other different types of renewable energies which are there. That is nothing but our hydro energies, then ocean energy. This is basically tidal energy. Then hydropowers are there. Then geothermal, biogas, bioenergy. So there are different types of energy resources which are available. And the point of view of going ahead with this subject. Now, what is the importance of going ahead with this subject is, this subject is going to give you the detailed knowledge about various renewable energies which are available, how they can be utilized, what are the engineering aspect, that is design, then how the installation has to be done. All those things we will be studying. So the first 4 units of the entire subject will be concentrating towards various types of renewable energy. That is mainly focusing on solar, wind, then geothermal. Then we have our biogas is there. Then we have basic different other types of renewable energy sources are there. How they are utilized, all those things we will be studying. Now, if we consider why this subject is very important, because if we consider the data, okay, around 16.1%, this is the 2016 data which I have taken, but currently if you just take a 2021 data, around 25% to 30% of the total energy which has been generated in India comes from the renewable energy. So you can see that this sector is one of the massively growing sector, and considering the different schemes which government is launching, they are targeting of 100 gigawatt. Okay, so 100 gigawatt is a huge amount of power. So this we are trying to achieve in another couple of years, and that will be surely achieved by the various installations which are occurring. If we see to these things, then what we can say is renewable is one of the most growing sector in the India, one of the prominent sectors in India. Now, when we talk about why you need to study this subject, so this subject is offered as an open elective to various departments. That is nothing but computer science, mechanical engineering, and all. Electronics engineering is there. Then we have aeronautics is there, civil engineering. So you might be thinking about why we need to study this subject. It is an electrical subject. So just to clarify one statement, it says that all engineers should come together to provide the power, light, and heat that society needs while minimizing the damage to the environment. Okay, so the most important role of an engineer today is to come together, collaborate. That is an interdisciplinary. This is what we can say, interdisciplinary work. So collaborate amongst ourselves, come up with some new ideas, come up with some learn the things, and then come up with some such innovative ideas which will help us to what you can say, which is going to help us to take care of this mother earth. Okay, and we will provide as much as low to minimize the damage which is occurring now because of various other type of source. For example, thermal, what is happening is it produces large amount of pollution. So how can we reduce that? So if we can increase the renewable, we can reduce the dependency on the thermal. So there are different concepts which will be there. So let us just see one by one how these various departments can contribute towards the renewable energy sector. So let us just start with the computer science and information science engineering. So there is a myth that computer science and information science engineering are not linked with electrical engineering. So what we can say is now the globe has come in such a way that all engineerings are interdisciplinary now. There cannot be only a computer science engineer, there cannot be only an electrical engineer, mechanical engineer. Everybody has to work in all the domains. So what is the role of a computer science engineer? Now, as we know that there is a large amount of plants which are coming, solar plants. For example, when we talk about the solar plant which is there in Karnataka, that is the world's largest solar plant. That is around 2000 plus megawatt at a single location. So the area of the solar plant is around 47 square kilometers is the total area of the solar plants installed. Now, when we talk about such type of what you can say installations, there is a requirement. You cannot manually go and inspect each and every panel. There will be something around lakhs of solar panels which will be there, thousands of inverters will be there, or it becomes a huge amount of data. So there is a computer science engineer which is required to understand this data, understand the patterns, and predict the faults. All such kind of things are there. The data analysis plays a very vital role. Apart from that, there are simulation models which are required to be prepared. So you cannot directly go and install a solar plant, right? Without having a preliminary paperwork, a preliminary simulative work. So there are many softwares which are nowadays coming, which are focusing. These companies focus on developing a software in such a way that before installing the plant, it will give you what are the types of material which is required, what is the costing which is there, how much generation it will be doing, what is the payback period, all those things, what are the different types of things that can be done, how much amount of shadowing area, what is the tilt angle it has to be provided. So all those things will be done on a analysis software. So that's such kind of softwares are required to be designed. So unless and until you have a knowledge regarding the renewable energies or such kind of systems, you cannot design these models. So that is the reason the computer science and information science engineers are required. Up next is mechanical engineering. Now mechanical engineering plays a very vital role in renewables. Why? Because see, whenever we talk about the structures, for example, wind turbine. Wind turbine is basically, see, there is a electrical generator is one of the most important thing which generates electricity. But apart from that, the majority parts in the solar, in the wind energy systems are mechanical. For example, wind blade. So designing a wind blade is this type of wind blade design is one of the major research area which is taking place nowadays. Using CATIA software, they do a proper analysis regarding how the blades have to be designed so that it can what can say, it can use the maximum amount of wind which is there. In the minimum wind speed also, the turbine needs to be rotated. Okay, so such kind of things have to be done. Apart from that, there is a gear arrangements requirement which has been done. Nowadays, there is a large amount of research which is going on the levitation. Okay, wherein what you can say, the wind turbine, the hub of the wind turbine it is a contactless system using the magnetic levitation system. They are trying to see to it that the frictional losses which were occurring in the rotating machines of the wind turbine can be reduced to minimum, and the efficiency of the system can be improved. Apart from wind energy, there are a lot for solar, the structure designing, then what you can say, another is this thing for hydro turbines, if you are talking, then the mechanical arrangement for hydro systems, then for what you can then with respect to our this thing geothermal systems, we require sensors to be used. Which type of sensors? There is a large amount of heat which is being used, so utilizing that heat, how it has to be done. Then this is with respect to only solar photovoltaic or wind we are talking. There is another concept of solar thermal systems. So in solar thermal systems, what we do, we use the solar energy, that is heat which has been generated from the sun. So we use a large amount of concentrators. So you might have seen the plants on the TV channels which nowadays, or you might have already visited in Shirdi. They have a mega kitchen wherein they are using solar concentrators in order to create the steam, and the steam which has been generated is used for cooking. So this is what is the thing which has been done nowadays using solar energy. And in order to design those concentrators, design the trackers, the mechanical systems are required. So that is the reason the mechanical engines are required in renewable industry. Then electronic engineering. So what is the electronics part when we talk about the renewable? So when we talk about the controllers, okay, for example, there are AC to DC controllers, DC to AC controllers, converters are there. So then there is a sensing system required. Then there is a, what you can say, hardware modules are required for communication. See, the plant might be located somewhere very far away from our main system. So in order to communicate, the communication engineers are required, the data acquisition is required, okay, and it has to be transmitted. Then hardware modules are required in order to process the signals. A large amount of data is there, large amount of systems are there. And nowadays, everything is coming into the domain of power electronics. So for power electronics, electronic engineers are required. Then communication, for communication protocols, communication networking, hardwares, all these things are required. Then monitoring station, weather monitoring stations, when we talk about these things. When you want to install a plant, you have to go ahead with, for wind turbines, if you want to install anywhere, there is something called as a wind mast which needs to be installed. So there are sensors, anemometers, what we call. There are sensors which are placed at a various height level. So that will decide what is the amount of height, wind shear, what we say. So what is the amount of height which is there, what is the amount of wind speed which is blowing at a particular height. And depending upon that thing, the prediction has to be done, or the analysis has to be done, for which what is the size of wind plant that can be installed. So those sensors play a very vital role, communication with the sensors, the data transmission. So these all things need to be done by an electronic engineer. Then comes the civil engineering. So now when we talk about the civil engineering, how the civil engineering plays a very vital role in renewable. Let me take an example of wind turbine. So when you are designing a wind turbine, these are massive structures. Around the wind blades are of size of something around what you can say 50 meters, 20 meters, 50, 60 meters, 100 meters also are there. And the turbine's height is around more than 100 meters, 150 meters also. So if you want to design such a massive structures, you should have a proper foundation, a proper good civil engineer, a design, planning, everything is required. So that is the point where civil engineers come into picture. Apart from that, when you are laying, for example, I gave you an example of the solar power plant which is there in Tumkur. Okay, that is one of the world's largest solar plant. So when you want to install a solar plant on a structure, so the structural analysis has to be done. As per the government norm, it says that the solar plant should be able to withstand the wind speed of around 150 meters per second. Okay, 150 meters per hour. The wind speed it has to bear. So if you want to design a structure for that thing, then again the structural analysis has to be done. So there is the role of a civil engineer which comes. Apart from that, designing a power plant, turbine designing, installation part, a lot many things are there. Wherein civil engineers play a very vital role. Installation of substations, when we talk about all those things, there is a civil engineer which is required on site for doing all these kind of analysis. The next is nothing but aeronautic engineering. So how aeronautic engineering is important now? The most important thing is, as I told you, there nowadays the wind turbines. So wind turbines are coming up with innovative blade designs. There are vertical axis wind turbine, there are horizontal axis wind turbine, with a lot many things are coming. So in order to extract the maximum amount of energy from the wind and to rotate the turbine, the design of a wind blade plays a very vital role. So there it should be aerodynamically designed. So that is the role wherein the design and analysis part, wherein this aeronautic engineers will come into play. So these are the how this was an overview of how various engineerings are required for our renewable energy systems. Now, why we need to study this thing? Okay, so as we know that India is emerging with the renewable. We are seeing to it that a large amount of renewable has to be installed, and with large amount of installation, there is a large amount of job opportunities which are going to come into the market. There are various companies, for example, Wari, Vikram Solar. These are the companies which are manufacturing the solar panel. Then there is a Delta, then Grovat, then SME. These are the companies which develop electronics part for our these things. What you can say. Inverters. Then there are the same companies, there are thousands of companies which develop the communication network, communication systems for weather monitoring systems for these things. So the technology is evolving, and there are the requirement of the budding engineers, the experienced engineers is required to be there in this field. Then we require to do the technical and basically when we talk about why we study this subject. First of all, as I said you need to understand what is the renewable energy and how you can contribute towards this renewable energy. That is one of the things we will be studying. Apart from that, we will be studying the technical and economical analysis of the entire electrical system. Then what are the different types of battery storage systems? See, as we are coming across with electric vehicles and all those things. So for electric vehicles, the battery plays a very vital role. So what are the different types of batteries available? How we can design the batteries? So those things we will be studying. Then with respect to the biomass. So in case of a biomass, this is a very large area which is there available. So gasifiers are there. How to convert the waste into electricity? That is what we will be studying in this part. Then wind energy systems, as I have given you, there is a large amount of things which we can study here. Here we are going to study regarding what are the different types of wind turbines, how the derivations which are going to use for calculations of how much amount of energy that can be extracted from the wind, what is the size of the wind turbine, all those things we'll be studying, how the site has to be selected. Then fuel cells. So this is also one of the emerging areas that we'll be studying. And then the last unit, as I said we'll be studying the case studies. For example, we have a 450 kilowatt solar plant which is installed at our GIT. So we will be doing the practical case studies. of this plant. Then there is a wind turbine, wind power plant which is installed near the Gogte at the Belgium. So that we will be doing the site visits. We will be doing analysis of those things. All those things will be done practically in this case study, and then we will be studying. So this case study, the exam you will be writing theoretically, but the analysis part of that thing will be done practically. We will be visiting the sites. We will be understanding the concept there, and we will be going ahead with this kind of things. So these are the things which we will be studying in this chapter. Then coming to the job opportunities, so you can just see here, I just taken some pictures from the Google search. When we check this thing, how the job opportunities are required. So computer science engineer, so you might be understanding this thing. So full stack engineer is required, renewable energy के लिए. So this is what is required. Then full stack engineer in renewable for select global solutions. Then Python and Odoo engineers are required in the sector of renewable. So this is just to give you a glimpse. This was taken today morning only. So you can see these are the jobs in Karnataka. And these are not only this thing. I just taken only three I have just taken. There are around hundreds and thousands of job opportunities for computer science engineers. Then when we talk about mechanical engineers, so you can see that RCA technical owners, then GE renewable energy is hiring for mechanical, hub mechanical engineering. So GE, all those things are different things are in Bangalore. They have lot many opportunities for mechanical engineers. Then with respect to our this thing, civil, so you can just see here, engineers are required, structural engineers are required in these companies. So these are all renewable energy companies which require civil engineers. There are a lot many things again. Then aeronautic engineers, so you can see that Quest Global has a renewable division wherein for software quality and testing engineers, then blade structure engineers, then also Siemens is there, Quest is there. They all require aeronautic engineers for these things. So this was what I wanted to tell you regarding this subject. This subject is going to give you a large amount of knowledge regarding how the systems needs to be designed, installed, what are the importance of renewable energy, how it can be implemented. So these are the things which we will be studying in this subject. Okay, so with this I just complete my presentation part. Okay, so if anybody has any kind of difficulties or any doubts, I think they can ask about that part. So I'll just stop presenting now. So if anybody has any difficulty, they can let me know. Just a minute. With this, I just complete my presentation part. Okay, so if anybody has any kind of difficulties or any doubts, I think they can ask about that part. So I'll just stop presenting now. So if anybody has any difficulty, they can. I think students are not directly there on the Google Meet. I think they are there on the YouTube channel. So what you can do is you can.
Sir, only 21 are watching.
Yes, 21 are watching. Now, you can post your questions on the YouTube, or else what we can do is we can start. If you have any questions, you can just post it on the this thing comment section, or else what you can do is you can join. You could have joined the Google Meet also. So if no questions are there, then what we will be doing is we will be going ahead with the next presentation by Professor Vinay Shetty. He will be giving you overview of about PLCs. Sir, I think if just check it out if anybody has posted any questions on YouTube.
Just give me a moment.
Yes. Posted any questions on YouTube?
Just give me a moment.
Yes.
Sir, no questions have been posted as of now. You are not audible, sir.
Sorry. So I think we can go ahead with the next presentation, that is PLC. So we have completed the presentation for renewable energy sources. The next presentation will be given by Professor Vinay Shetty on programmable logical controls.
Yes, thank you very much,
Over
sir.
to you, sir. You can just start with the presentation.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So good afternoon to all, my dear students who all are watching this. I'm here to present in front of you the open elective subject, that is PLC and industrial automation, which I will be engaging throughout the semester for various branch students. Right? I hope my PPT is visible. My PPT is visible.
Yes, sir.
Rahul?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
visible.
Okay. Fine. Thank you. So we'll be studying PLC and industrial automation, right? So when we this is not known very well known to all of us, right? But I'd like to throw some limelight on this subject. Before we proceed, the course code is 18EE. E stands for Electrical and Electronics Engineering. OE is an open elective 653. Okay. So this is an open elective which we are offering to the different branch students. Okay, and here PLC stands for Programmable Logic Controller. Okay, it is a kind of a controller which has been incorporated in the system in order to have a control over the sequence of operations. Okay, now the sequence of operations can be a domestic operations, or it may be a commercial operations, it may be an industrial operations. Now, when we talk about the precision and the accuracy, obviously there comes a robot, there comes a machine, right? And when there is a machine, obviously we cannot have an 100% accuracy by incorporating an human being over there in order to have a control over the process, right? So, in order to see to it that the things happen in a right way, right, as expected, as desired, we go ahead with automating the entire system, and that is how wherein the word called as industrial automation came into picture. Okay, automation of industrial sequences of operations, right, by the means of using a programmable logic controller. This itself is a automation. Okay, and in our course, I'll just brief about the syllabus first, and then I will go ahead with what all the students will learn and what will be key points which you take away. Okay, so in the syllabus, we will go ahead with the syllabus is split into 5 units. Okay, so unit one basically it will have an introduction of PLC, because before we start any subject, we need to know what we are learning. Then we'll come to the programming part. Okay, when I say it's a programming, obviously the students get feared that they will have to write blocks of pages together program. But here in the PLC, it is not a very difficult task. The program which we use in order to program the PLC is a ladder logic program, or else instead of that we can even make use of a instruction list. It's quite simple program, right? But widely used. Okay. Then unit 3, we'll learn about programming languages. Okay. In unit 4, we'll read about the internal relays which are there incorporated in the PLC, and how do we use them in order to execute or in order to frame up a process. Okay. In unit 5, we have timers and counters. Basically, these are the basic building blocks for any kind of automation. Timers and counters are incorporated in order to count the time. I mean to say the operation has to go real time. RTC we call it as real time clock. And counters are basically incorporated in order to count the sequence of operation. For example, if I want to put on a machine after 5 minutes of my push button I press, so the timer will have play an important role here in order to see to it that the machine gets on after 5 minutes. So that kind of operation is known as on delay timing. Then we have off delay timer, right? And you have a counter if you take an example of a bottle packaging industry, or maybe a normal packaging industry, and I want to count how many number of samples have been passed through the conveyor belt. Now, if I incorporate an human being, obviously it prones to an error, because every 24 cross 7 he may not be active, and he may not be counting. One or the other way, he may get disturbed, and the count may not be appropriate. So, in order to see to it that the counting happens in a proper sequence and a proper way with an 100% of accuracy, obviously we incorporate the counters. and these counters, how they could be used. These are the inbuilt counters in the PLC, how they could be used for our work process. Okay, so here I'll just click on the introduction, so that you can see in introduction we are going to learn about introduction to the PLC, that is programmable logic controller. Then what are the advantages and drawbacks? I don't say it as a disadvantages. Basically, they are the drawbacks which are there in the system, which can be obsoleted by making use of new technologies. Then we have to see, going to hardware, internal architecture of the PLC, and the method of sourcing and syncing. The method of sourcing and syncing is basically with reference to the input which has been connected to the PLC, or with reference to the output which has been connected to the PLC. Okay. Then we are going to study about the characteristics of IO devices. IO basically stands for input output devices. So basically here input devices are nothing but the sensors which we which we put in the PLC in order to measure few parameters, and output devices are the actuators which are basically used in order to operate a process or control a process by taking a command from the input sensors. Okay, then we will list out the what are the type of input and output devices, then what are the examples and applications. We are going to read this, and the processing, that is signal processing, signal conditioning, how we do that. Okay, so this is all about your introduction. Then coming to the programming. In the programming, we will study about ladder programming, that is ladder diagrams. We also call it as a relay logic. Relay logic, the concept of NO and NCs, that is normally open and normally closed context. Then we will study about the logic functions, basic logic functions which you have studied in your first year. Those are AND gate, NAND gate, NOR gate, OR gate, XOR gate. How do we build this AND, NAND, NOR, XOR logic functions in the ladder programming? That we'll see. It's quite interesting. Then latching. Latching means you will have to hold on the input even after you put off the power. I mean to say not power supply. Put off the push button. Okay. So that is a quite of that is a method of latching. We will be elaborately studying on that when you join the course. Then you have multiple output concepts. Then how to enter the program into the PLC. Then functional blocks. We are going to study about the functional blocks. FBD we call it as functional block diagrams. Then we will have to study about the programming examples like location of the stop, where exactly we need to locate the stop and emergency switches in order to ensure the 100% safety. Right? Safetiness is very much important, or else the entire system will be vulnerable. Okay. Okay. Then we'll study about the internal relays. In internal relays, we'll study about the ladder programs, battery backed relays, one shot operation, then rising trigger and falling trigger, that is also there, set and reset function. Then you have a master control relay which could be used in order to have a control over the entire system parameters and to shut down the entire system by using a master slave arrangement. Okay. Then we have basically the timers and the counters, wherein we will study about the type of timers, then the programming, how do we program the timers, then on and off delay timers, then what are the type of pulse timers. You even have retentive timers. Okay. These normal timers come under the non-retentive timers, and we have another set of timers known as a retentive timer. Then forms of counter, what are the different forms of counter? Basically up counter, down counter, and up down counter, that is a universal counter which could be used. Then programming up and down counters, up and down counters, timers with counters, etc. Okay, so here still we have a detailed syllabus. I think the detailed syllabus is accessible to you all. Okay, this is all about the detailed syllabus. So here the CIE component we have, all these things we have CIE, and this is the this credit is 3. We have 40 hours total syllabus. CIE is for 50 marks, SW is for 50 marks. Okay, and that is what how it goes. Then okay, coming to the important point, right? The student, of course, he thinks, why? What I will be gaining by learning this course, right? So first point is students will be able to Describe typical components of a programmable logic controller, its basic concepts and basic PLC terminology and their meanings. You'll be in a position to answer all these questions. Okay. Then the students will be able to explain and apply the concept of electrical ladder logic, its history, and its relationship to programmed PLC instructions, wherein we call it as instruction list. Then the student will be able to explain the concept of basic digital electronics and data manipulation. Okay. After that, students will be able to use timer, counter, and other intermediate programming functions built in the PLC. Then the student will be able to design and program basic PLC circuits for entry level PLC applications. Then the students will be able to design and program a small automated industrial production line. Apart from this course, in the course, right, obviously there is no kind of a practical which has been there, but we will be working with the software. Okay, I will be giving you the software free of cost. You will be working with the software. Whatever the problems I ask you to do as an homework, I will teach you how to incorporate those programs in the software and run and see it practically. Okay. Simulation, I am going to teach you the simulation also with this subject. So this subject is not only uh, studying all about the theory, even we will cover up the practical. Okay. Then what are the placement opportunities, right? See, as we engineers, right, we think only, okay, we get a job with Java, C++ or COBOL, Python and all. But even there is a domain known as industrial automation. Basically the mechanical students, the electronic students, computer science, IS, all the branches, right? Automation is quite important in every industry. Okay. And when we speak about the mechanical, obviously few mechanical students might be knowing that robotics, right, robotics and robotic arm, right, they really require the automation system. And as we know, all the machineries which are used in industries are automatic in nature. So atomization is the, cream of the cake, right, which is really required in industry 4.0, right? And these PLCs are extensively and widely used by the industries decades ago, right? Decades ago. Now what you can do is you can study this subject. You can come up with the new interfacing technologies, wherein you can interface the PLC with the cloud and then do whatever the sequences you require to have it in. Okay. Then coming to the placement opportunities, all there are many automation industries like you have a job in automobile, you have a job in power sector, you have the job in oil sector, you have the job in hospitals, FMGG, hotels, pharmaceutical, shipping, and there are many more. Okay. There are many more to come. So the automation itself, as we are going for a automation system, right, there is a huge requirement not only in India but in the entire continent. There is a huge requirement for PLC programmers as well as the SCADA programmers. Okay, so this subject could be proving really best for you to study the prerequisites and you have an hands-on experience on the platform, the software platform. And as we are coming up with the PLC laboratory shortly, right? Shortly, mean to say, it will be in another couple of days, right? Couple of days or a couple of months, you will be in a position to utilize the PLC lab, right? PLC lab, and the internships also you can get it very easily after undergoing this course. Okay. So what are the opportunities for further studies? Okay, if I say, okay, I do a PLC course, now only is it restricted and limited to the industrial domain? What if I want to go for an higher education, isn't it? So the opportunities which are available for the further studies are, you can go ahead with the advanced courses like industrial automation, mechatronics. Basically mechanical students are more vibrant into this subject, mechatronics. It's a collaboration of mechanical and electronics, mechatronics. Then you have machine learning. Now it is a very hot subject going in all together in the industries. Then you have artificial intelligence and data science. This also could be used and it could be incorporated in the PLC system, and it can prove the best of its technology. Then you have industrial drives like AC and DC drives. which are extensively and widely used in all the industries. Any industry you go, you will see the PLC over there. Even if you visit the foundries also, you will see the PLC over there for few automation processes, because wherein the uh, point where the human being cannot reach, the robotics and the machinery is quite obvious they reach there. Okay, and the hazardous to the person gets restricted. Okay, so this was all about your PLC and industrial automation, right, which you will be studying in the as an open elective under the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. I hope this much of limelight thrown to this particular subject is sufficient, and I hope to see you soon in the department. Thank you very much, and I conclude my talk. A detailed description regarding the industrial automation subject, right? So if in case you have any difficulty or doubt or a query, right, you can just post it in the YouTube, okay? Or else you can, I mean to say, you post it in the YouTube, we will reply to it, okay? Or else you can personally come and meet us in Monday or Tuesday. You can meet us if in case you are interested in any of the subject offered by the Department of Electrical and Electronics. The only added point is, as we are coming up with the PLC laboratory, you will have an hands-on experience, as well as one more point is this has been extensively used technology in the all domains of the industry. So with the prerequisite that you have studied the PLC, you know how to rig up the circuits and all, it's quite easy, right? No subject is difficult. Obviously we'll have to come together, learn and explore it. Okay, so I wish all the best for all of students, right? And I wish to see you soon, opting the electives being floated by Department of E&E. Thank you very much. Rahul sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think we can conclude it.
Yes, sir. So I thank all the participants who have watched this, who have joined the meet, and who have come to understand. You might have come to understand regarding various electives which the department is offering, and what are the importance of these electives. Both the electives, that is renewable energy sources as well as PLC, play a very vital role in the current era. So, as sir said, we hope to see you in the classes soon. So if you have any kind of difficulty, or you want any kind of explanations, or any kind of things you need to discuss, you are free to contact us. You can come down to our department. We will be available there. So you can interact with us and then take a call of it. Okay. So I think we can stop with this. So I thank Vinay sir for giving the presentation for the PLC subject. So I think we can wind up, sir, now. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. I request प्रभाकर, जरा हे तुम्ही स्ट्रीमिंग बंद करू शकता आता. Thank you, everyone.